So this is what I think happened. Now, I want to make it clear that apparently there was a very secret operation that Hizbollah was just planning to execute, which made Israel waste the pagers card. Now let me explain why did I say waste. Because Israel have heard something that is about to be happening and decided to take the entire command system of Hizbollah, leaving Nasrallah all alone up there, assassinating all of his chain of command under him. The entire army. See, there was a report saying that Hizbollah was probably planning another October 7th. Welcome back, guys. In the next video, I'm going to try to answer the question, why is Israel attacking in Lebanon? And what did Hezbollah possibly do to trigger such an attack from the IDF to make Israel waste such important cards like the pagers and etc. So buckle up and get ready, because it's going to be a fun ride. The attack of Israel in Lebanon did not come in a vacuum. There is a very good reason for Israel attacking right now Hezbollah bases and operations and missile silos all across Lebanon, because you need to understand, in the last 11 months, Hezbollah have been not only shooting thousands of rockets into Israel, but have been placing its soldiers close to the border, bringing all of its rockets and arsenals ready to shoot at Israel. And apparently, there was a very secret operation that Hezbollah was just planning to execute, which made Israel waste the pagers card. Now let me explain why did I say waste. When you manage to infiltrate your enemy and take over their entire communication system, placing a pager on every high-ranking officer and special forces and soldiers in the field, now, not only that you can hear everything they say, you can find their locations. You can put some kind of an Uber AI robot that will generate and simplify and give you all kind of alerts of what they're planning to do, what are they doing, etc., etc. So this is a gold mine, a diamond asset for any spionage agency. However, Israel decided, we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna blow it all up on them. Well, I'm not saying that it was wired to tap Hezbollah, but possibly it was. I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you just put some kind of a signal to hear what they're saying? It's just a possibility. Apparently, Israel have heard something that is about to be happening and decided to take the entire command system of Hezbollah, leaving Nasrallah all alone up there, assassinating all of his chain of command under him. The entire Ardogan forces leadership, that's the special forces of Hezbollah, was completely eliminated in one airstrike. Which, by the way, just that is baffling Nasrallah right now. And Hezbollah, they're trying to understand, how did Israel know? You see, these are not just Hezbollah guys sitting and smoking a hubbly-bubbly in a shisha while they're talking about what they want to do with the Jewish people. These are the elite commandos, top secret service, Hezbollah commanders and operators that all got taken out in one shot. From what I read, basically, Hezbollah is saying that we just don't understand, how did Israel know? I mean, every one of these commanders came in a different route. Some came from the underground, some came with different route cars, I don't know what, disguised as women, as old people, and they all came to meet in one house. And Israel only struck once all of them were there. So that alone is just baffling Nasrallah. But that makes you realize, what did they plan that made Israel expedite and execute what we're seeing right now, which is a whole out war with Hezbollah? So this is what I think happened. Now, I want to make it clear, this is not an official statement of the IDF. This is based on my experience. I used to be an officer in the IDF. I served in the special forces. I basically served in every border around Israel. I was in the border with Jordan, I was in the border with Lebanon and Syria, I was in the border with Egypt. I was under fire and encounters in all of these borders, so I think I do have some kind of an experience and understanding of how does Israel operate, how the army operate, and I'm going to try to bring some of my insight of what possibly happened. See, there was a report saying that Hezbollah was probably planning another October 7. Let's put that in proportion. Not only that they have made all of the people in the north evacuate for 11 months, they were also planning on raiding Israel, killing, butchering, raping, kidnapping, murdering, all the terrible stuff that Hamas have did, Hezbollah was planning to do. Bear in mind, Hezbollah is a way more capable terrorist organization than Hamas. They were actually declared as the most advanced terrorist organization in the world. So a lot of things that you saw Hamas doing, they actually learned it from Hezbollah. And we're going to talk about this later on in the video. But Israel, for some reason, decided that they crossed the red line. They're probably planning some kind of a massive, goring, terrible October 7, 9/11 kind of attack on Israel, and Israel is not going to let it happen, so they decided to burn their cards, put down their Joker card, and just go on this attack. To bring it back and help people understand, because some people back home, and I understand, who are not really invested or involved in this war, in the situation, might be asking themselves, why is Israel attacking Lebanon right now? Don't they have enough war? Well, the reason is Israel have every right, like any other country, to defend its people no matter what. And right now, defending the people of Israel is not only preventing another October 7, but also pushing Hizbollah back to original lines where they cannot be a threat for the Israeli people, no matter who. Because bear in mind, the attack right now that Hezbollah is launching on Israel, a lot of the rockets are landing on Palestinian territory, are landing on Arab villages, including Nazareth and etc. and etc. So Israel have the right to say no more. We need to push them back. One thing very similar that Hezbollah have with Hamas, with the Taliban, with all of these wicked, crazy people like ISIS, is that not only they embedded themselves in civilian population, they also put all of the rocket launchers in civilian houses, inside of villages, and etc. and etc. Basically kidnapping the Lebanese nation and using Lebanon as human shields. That's what Hezbollah is doing, and that's why Israel is again sending its enemies radio message, phone messages telling them evacuate, get away from every Hezbollah operator, from every Hezbollah building for your own safety. Go away around 1,000 meters away, get out of this area. Israel is again telling its enemy where is it going to attack, when is it going to attack, revealing to the enemy, strategic plans, losing the element of surprise. Israel is basically probably the only nation in the world that keeps doing that, which from a military point of view, when I was studying, in the officer academy, this is one of the worst things that you can do. Tell your enemy where you attack and how you're going to attack. You're losing the element of surprise. After the Pager War, if Israel would have attacked then, when all of the Hezbollah guys have lost their eyes, their hands, and their schnitzken, they're all completely terrified, that would have been a much better time to operate. But I guess in some way, Israel did not want to kill too many Lebanese people. So Israel decided to lose a very important card in that war, just for the sake of saving the Lebanese people. And I do believe that a lot of the people in Lebanon are actually understanding that, the real enemy of Lebanon is Hezbollah. The only thing is that they're terrified of speaking out. I think the only ones in Lebanon that are probably not that terrified of Hezbollah are the Druze, which is one of the only places in Lebanon that Hezbollah doesn't dare to operate. And every time that they go in, the Druze men will come out with guns and any weapon that they have and will kick them out from their village. Say, you're not welcome here. We're not going to let you drag us into your war. We're not going to let you use our women and children as human shields. But the rest of Lebanon is basically terrified. The Christians are running away. Lebanon used to be a Christian nation. It used to be a beautiful, liberal Christian nation. If you used to watch MTV when I was a kid, Lebanon MTV had more women in bikinis than American MTV. It looked completely Western. You look at Lebanon now and it's looking like Iran almost. Slowly. There's still hubs in Lebanon and Beirut and etc. where they're still living some kind of a liberal life. That's why they used to call it the Paris of the Middle East, Beirut, or Switzerland of the Middle East. But it's starting to become more like Mosul of the Middle East, like Iran of the Middle East. So I do believe that many people in Lebanon that are fleeing right now, they know, but they're just too afraid to speak. With that said, and understanding that proudly Israel have tapped in to some very, very sinister secret plan of Hezbollah to come and attack the people of Israel, and Israel decided to do a preventive attack and push Hezbollah away from the borders in order to secure the people of Israel, not only to save their lives right now from this attack, from another October 7, but also to bring back their life. There's more than almost 500,000 people that have been dislocated from their homes, businesses that have completely bankrupt. People have been living in that nightmare of war for more than 11 months. Now, the people of Israel are very resilient. Don't be mistaken. It's not like other countries where everybody will just give up and run away. People of Israel will stay and fight because Israel is the only Jewish land that they have. They have nowhere to go. And when you're fighting with someone that his back is to the wall or his back is to the river and the sea, they're going to fight until the end. And they're not going to take any cow poop. And they're going to make sure that they do anything that they need to do. Thought I heard someone. In order to survive. Now, when I said that October 7, what Hamas did, they actually learned it from Hezbollah. And we know of reports that Iranians and Hezbollah operators were there training them. When I was in the service, I remember several times where Hezbollah out of nowhere will suddenly launch an attack of rockets and mortars all around the border of Israel, pinning down all the outposts, and they will, while everybody's running away to hide in the bomb shelters, they will keep one area that is not being attacked. So now patrols cannot drive, everybody's pinned down, counting their numbers, and then they will send their commando unit to go and try to infiltrate an Israeli base, kidnap Israeli soldiers. When they kidnap the 3 soldiers from the combat engineering unit, and then go back. And I remember one time when I was stationed in the border with Lebanon, I just arrived there, I was there less than 3 days, and suddenly out of nowhere there was a Hezbollah attack. They were shooting rockets and mortar all over the area, and I ran with my luggage I ran to the command room, which was kind of a bomb shelter as well, and I saw the second in command of that area right now, the brigadier, because the first in command was home on vacation, so he was in charge for the weekend. They usually attack on Saturdays and weekends when they know that everybody's maybe kind of getting sleepy or forces are changing, going home, coming back. And he just froze. He just didn't know what to do. And I went to that war room and I saw all the girls there that were part of the intelligence and the radio communication looking at him, waiting for command. And the guy was just, didn't know what to do. And in that moment, I realized, and I remember, I knew how important it is. Leadership, how important it is, a calming voice. So what I did is I took the comms from him and he just stepped aside. I looked at him, he just stepped aside, and I went on the radio and said, all stations, I gave the code word, report. I called one of the girls, said, give me a map, put it here. Put a pin on every outpost that we have, every patrol that we have, every ambush that Israel is laying right down the border, pin it down, give me the name and the radio number. And I started going one by one, calling on the radio, and telling them report, giving them instruction to follow the SOPs, telling them that Hezbollah is planning an attack and probably an invasion. Maybe even attempting to kidnap Israeli soldiers, because that's usually been some kind of a prize, that the high elite prize that they aspire to kidnap Israeli soldiers, because they know how much Israel cherishes life and what Israel will do to bring back their hostages. But I also remembered from my time in the officer academy, when we used to do the war trainings, and also my times in the service, how important is leadership and how important is calming voice over the radio. So I grabbed the radio and I started giving a calming voice and reminding everybody, all stations, be vigilant, keep your eyes, watch your doors, lock everything, keep looking around. Every station need to have visual by sight and also visual by fire, line of fire with the other stations so you can guard each other. And they ended up foiling a Hezbollah attempt to actually invade an Israeli base and kidnap the soldiers, and they killed the Hezbollah operator that were trying to come in. But that is a textbook of what happened on October 7. Remember? They shot with launchers, drones, rockets, snipers, RPGs, pinned down all of the forces, and then went and attacked and infiltrated Israel. And there's a saying that they teach in the War Academy that came from the time of Normandy, actually, Second World War, which says the line of defense will always be broken. And that idea is never trust just because you have a wall or a fence. The enemy will come, will bring enough force, will wait for the right moment, and he will penetrate, he will break the line of defense. That's why you need to have always a reservist unit, some kind of a backup fist that is ready and mobile. And if there's anyone coming from this place through the fence, they will go and tackle him. They will go and tackle him. They're mobile, they're ready, they're flexible. And in that moment, I remember, where was I? So my point is, what Hezbollah was planning to do might have ended up being worse than what we saw on October 7. And that made Israel give away the pager card. That made Israel go into the war that is going right now. And Israel is again schooling the world about how to wage a humanitarian warfare. Israel is doing what it has to do as a nation, as a country, to protect its people. And their goal is to push Hezbollah away from the border so they're not anymore a threat to Israel. And also to dismantle Hezbollah to the point that Hezbollah cannot be a threat to Israel. Now, will they completely destroy Hezbollah? That will take a lot of work, and that will take probably involvement of the international community. Just Israel doing by itself, it's becoming tiresome that Israel alone is fighting the wars of the West all over again, while the West is sitting there pointing out and blaming them instead of supporting them. The West need to wake up and realize Hizbollah, Iran, the Houthis, Hamas, all these bad guys are the enemies of the West, not only the enemy of Israel, are the enemy of the LGBTQ community, are the enemies of all the feminists out there, are the enemies of every freedom-loving human being. One thing also to bear in mind, Israel does not want to conquer Lebanon. Last time Israel was in Lebanon, they did not build a single settlement. And even the Lebanese people in the radio, you can actually see right now this video of a Lebanese journalist or interpreter coming and saying that clearly they know, the Lebanese people are not stupid. They know that Israel is not the real enemy. But perhaps Israel leaving Lebanon there was a mistake. Perhaps Israel leaving Gaza was a mistake. Because obviously, when Israel was in Lebanon, Hezbollah was not as strong as it is. Because Israel kept... I remember one time I watched a movie, I forgot what it's called. It was something about Jordan and ISIS in Jordan. And there was a CIA operator there that was played by Russell Crowe. I think it was a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. And he said that the radical Islam, these terrorists, are like this dragon or the snake that have many heads. And our job is to keep our foot on its neck and chop off the head every time that it grows back. Because the moment you leave it, it's going to grow bigger and bigger and it's going to cause more damage. So when Israel left Lebanon, when Israel left Gaza, because Israel did these sacrifices for peace. They left Lebanon for peace. They left Gaza for peace. What it did in the end, it only caused Hamas to get stronger. It only caused Hezbollah to get stronger. And now we're dealing with the war that we're dealing with. Which make you sometimes think and maybe start to realize that there comes a point where war is the solution, where violence is the solution. Because if you don't go all the way to destroy that enemy and you leave him breathing and you leave him capable to be sponsored, to be trained, to recruit more people, to kidnap a whole nation and abuse them and make them its own human shields and raise terrorists from this nation like Hamas did with UNRWA and Gaza basically, you are just preventing another bigger war. And right now Israel is dealing with that. So to summarize all, Israel is rightfully so pushing its enemies back and away, preventing another October 7, and taking the old saying that they promised themselves in the Holocaust, never again, taking that saying very seriously. When I was in the army, a lot of units had that shirt that said never again. And there's a reason why the Jewish people, why the state of Israel take that very seriously, never again. And they kind of forgot that in October 7. And there's going to be a lot of investigations. Hopefully the truth will come to light of what really happened there, because there's a lot of questions that even I find it hard to answer, or finding myself doing some kind of mental gymnastics to realize what really happened. How did that happen? 3 Apache helicopters in the right moment could have stopped and prevented this whole October 7. Let's be honest. I have a friend of mine who's a commander in an Apache helicopter, and he was there, and he told me how easy it was for them to just eliminate all the Hamas people that were running around the fence. But they came late. They came about 40 minutes or an hour and a half late after they already invaded with 3,000 or 4,000 Hamas commandos into Israel. So, to summarize it all up, guys, and I know I said that, but I'm going to say it again. Israel is doing what it needs to be done to protect its citizens. Israel is doing it in the most humanitarian way. And hopefully the people of Lebanon will learn to get away from Hezbollah and to shake Hezbollah off from their backs before Lebanon becomes to the next Gaza. Now, there is also rumors right now that Iran is saying that they might have to intervene. If that happens, will America intervene? I mean, they brought all these airplane carriers and these, war machines to the Middle East ready. Will the West finally realize that the real enemy is Iran? And if you want to stop all of these things, like Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas, you need to take down the Islamic Republic of Iran. I'm not talking to people of Iran. The free people of Iran are amazing people. I know several of them. I helped save the life of one of them that was stuck in the ocean for several days without water and food. And until today, I keep in touch with him. Brilliant young man. I'm not going to say his name out of safety reasons. But I got to hear from so many Iranian friends, including Yunus and Niyak, which I met in London, a little glimpse of how amazing are the people of Iran, how tired they are from the Islamic Republic of Iran, from the radical Islam that came and destroyed their once beautiful, liberal, free country. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and found it beneficial. If you did, feel free to go and like, subscribe, share, do the whole shebang. Also, go and visit my Patreon if you want to find a practical way to help me keep doing these videos for you. But until then, guys, don't do anything stupid, and in general, just don't do anything that I would do. Stay safe. See you next time.